Tax time is approaching, and I wanted to clear up some confusion with the new 1099-K forms, specifically the new $600 reporting requirement, and what it means for you if you receive one. If you're an entrepreneur, freelancer, gig economy worker, or independent contractor, then you'll want to pay close attention. Later in the video, I'll answer a question I received on what to do if you received a Form 1099-K in your name and social security number, but it actually belongs to someone else. I'll assume you already know about the new lowered $600 1099-K reporting threshold that goes into effect for your 2022 tax return. If you don't already know, check out this playlist up above, which will answer all your questions. Moving on, so if you receive a Form 1099-K for things that you sold online, it's really not something to worry about. When I get these 1099-K forms from my clients in the course of preparing their tax returns, I just put them to the side. Here's the reason why. A 1099-K that you might receive is purely informational. Yes, the information is reported to the IRS, and no, the information reported may not actually agree with your own records. But 1099 or not, you should be doing your own bookkeeping and tracking your income and expenses regardless. If you're an established entrepreneur, freelancer, gig economy worker, or independent contractor, then you already know what I'm talking about. If you've just started a side hustle or never reported your side hustle income in the past, then unfortunately, things have changed for you. Because of the new 1099-K reporting requirements of $600, you'll likely receive a 1099 and will now need to report that on your taxes. It's confusing. I know they didn't teach taxes in school, although they should have. I've discussed it in a previous video, which I'll link up here. But basically, you would need to report your side hustle income and expenses on your personal tax return, Schedule C, profit or loss from business. This assumes you're taxed as a sole proprietorship, which is pretty standard for most people. If you're someone who's never reported these types of transactions on your taxes, then you'll want to pay attention because you can't ignore the 1099s you receive. For example, if you receive one for say $12,000 and you don't report that on your tax return, sometime later in a few months, the IRS will send you a nasty letter saying that you failed to pay taxes on $12,000 and you'll get something like a $3,000 tax bill. Ouch. I see this all the time. It's actually quite common. Your actual tax bill is probably a lot less because the IRS doesn't know what your expenses are, and for all you know, maybe you barely broke even, so there would be nothing owed. By the way, I'm creating a course on this very topic, and you can sign up on my wait list and be notified first as soon as it's ready. It's called How to Pay Taxes on Your Side Hustle Income. It's really good and it will empower you to get tax savvy with regards to your side hustle. Link is in the description. Going back to the 1099-Ks and why they aren't really important, if you're already tracking your own income and expenses, which you should already be doing, mind you, then it's just informational. All I do when I'm preparing someone's tax return is add them up and compare the totals from the 1099-Ks to the total income that you've presumably already calculated. If your calculated number is higher, then you're all good. You can put the 1099-Ks away. If for some reason your number is lower than what's reported on the 1099-Ks, then you might want to take a step back and understand why your number is lower. It could be that you made a mistake and missed something. It could be just a timing difference because some 1099-Ks may use a settlement date that pushes some transactions into the next period. If you're confident that your number is correct, or maybe you use the accrual accounting method, then I would just make an adjustment on the tax return so that you're actually reporting the higher number on the tax return under income, but include the difference as a deduction as an other expense, and call it something like timing reporting difference. In my opinion, you should report at least the 1099-K total amount to avoid any automated underreporting notices that the IRS often sends out automatically. I hope that makes sense. If it doesn't, leave me a note in the comments. Next, a question that often comes up: what do you do if you receive a 1099 in your name and social security number, but for whatever reason it doesn't belong to you? It belongs to someone else. Maybe you let someone borrow or use your tax ID number. Maybe you went in on a side hustle with others. First of all, you should never do this. Lend someone your identity and social security number for whatever reason. It's probably against the law, and you open yourself up to identity theft and IRS tax problems. If you're doing business with others, then set up an LLC and get an EIN or employer identification number. So if you get a 1099-K that doesn't belong to you, you still want to report that on your tax return for the full amount. I know you don't want to be taxed on it, so the next step is to deduct the amount that isn't applicable to you and let the IRS know who will be reporting the 1099-K income. In order to satisfy the IRS reporting requirements, according to them, if you receive a Form 1099 for amounts that actually belong to another person, you are considered a nominee recipient. You must file a Form 1099 with the IRS using the same type of Form 1099 you received for each of the other owners, showing the amounts allocable to each. You must also provide a Form 1099 to each of the other parties. File the Form 1099 with Form 1096 with the IRS Submission Processing Center for your area. On each new Form 1099, list yourself as the payer and the other owner as the recipient. On Form 1096, list yourself as the filer. I know what you're thinking, what a big hassle. It's an inconvenience, but if you don't want to have any problems with the IRS, then that's what you need to do. If you need help filing a 1099 for nominee income, leave a comment below, and I can share some resources with you. Do take note that whether or not you receive a 1099, you're still required to pay tax on any side hustle income you receive regardless of the amount. Don't forget to check out this video here where I explain in more detail how to pay taxes on your side hustle income. If you found value, please be sure to like or subscribe and hit the notification bell. Thanks for watching and see you in the next video.